Freaky. LFJ. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you for popping in. Thank you. Oh, yeah, Freaky. No, I'm good. Good. Hey, Nonchalant. Thank you, Layla. Thank you. Hi, how are you? Nothing. Have a good time with your. Where's my description? I had a description. Oh. I don't know what's going on with that. Welcome to the Oasis. There we go. Have fun with your mom. Hey, fishing. Welcome everyone to the Oasis. We're going to get started in a couple minutes. Just waiting for some stragglers to trickle in. Hi, fishing. Thank you, Frankie. Yeah, thank you for popping in. Thank you, Nonchalant. Guys, we have a great show for this evening. We have Miss Layla O. She is a great friend of mine. That's okay. Go. Sorry about that. She is a great friend of mine. She is so talented. She's a musician, and she also is a self-care expert. And for those of you that do not know what self-care is, you're going to find out. You're going to find out tonight and hopefully learn some new things that can help you to feel better. Yo, Bean. Welcome. I'm going to get started in another minute or two. So shaking, bacon. Guys, it is pouring today. Yesterday, it was not yesterday. Thank you, Bean. Yesterday, was it the day before? It was like 84 degrees out. Today, it is 45. Hey, Chris, how are you? It was 45 degrees today. It's freezing. Yo, what's the weather by you? Hi. I'm good. How are you? Hey, Daniel, welcome. Guys, this is a very special episode of the Oasis. We are talking about self-care, and we are actually going to learn some new tools that will help us with self-care for ourselves. Self-care is super important, and we're going to learn so much about it, and I'm so excited. This is the Oasis. It's a cool, peaceful place to be, to hang out, and we meet a fellow streamer on the app. And am I whispering? Am I whispering? It is. So anyways, we have Miss Layla, who is going to request the box now. Let me turn my volume up. And stay till the end, because you're in a treat. In for a treat. I said in a treat. Thank you, Chris. Layla, whenever you're ready, I'll have you pop in. No, I didn't. I have the Oasis. I'll talk to you later. Here we go.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
So
how are you?
I am doing pretty good. Practicing self-care these days. But yeah, no, I feel good. It's also really cool and windy here in Chicago too. So yeah, it's feel you.
You look so cute. So I don't have to ask you where you're from because you just told us. So you're from Chicago.
Yeah, actually, I was born and raised south of Chicago, Champaign, Urbana, Illinois, home of the Fighting Illini. I love you, Frankie. I really missed you guys. So for some of you that don't know, um, I've been a streamer for a long time. So I'm kind of jumping around with your questions. Sorry. But Meet Me deleted my account a couple months ago. So I'm starting back from scratch, and I've barely been on in the last 2-3 months, maybe.
Right.
Um, so, hi, Chris. I'm doing well. It feels good to be back on.
I feel like with things opening up a lot more, we're all kind of just like doing more, you know, we're getting out more and doing stuff, and you know, it's crazy. The times change, now they're changing again.
Changing back almost as quickly as they did before, like a year ago. So,
Definitely, definitely. Okay, so you are from, yep, okay. So how long were you streaming on the app for?
I started in September 2019. I'd gone to see Bernie Sanders speak at a rally, and I got home at like 2:30 in the morning. I was sober as a bird, grabbed myself a drink, and was like, I'm going to try this streaming thing. I had no idea what it was about, and I was hooked instantly. I love it.
Did you start streaming doing music, or that kind of came along later?
That came along later. I always sing just like all the time anyway. And the way it kind of evolved in my stream was I was just singing along to the music and getting a lot of feedback. People really liked the way I sang, and I love performing. So I kind of just did my best to start adding that to my platform, really
Right.
doing a lot. What do other streamers do?
Sorry. Yeah.
Go best and do what the best does. So that's why I try to like
Yeah.
go to all these different streams, see what are people who are really successful at this, what are they doing, and then what tools do I already have in my toolkit to make that happen without going out and dropping hundreds of dollars trying to set up some kind of system when I might actually already have stuff here that will work. And so that's actually what I perform on, is just things that I have and things that people have given to me as well.
Yeah. And that's how, so I met Layla on here through the Music Box Showcase, which is a verified show on here. And you were singing, and in the comments we were chit chatting, and then we just, you know, became friends. So what do you do for a living?
I am a social worker.
Mm-hmm.
I have my master's in social work, and my specialty is program development. So when I was in grad school, my focus was, how can we, instead of me being one person who works with maybe 15 people at any given time, how can we as one person create something that helps thousands of people at one time? And that guided me through a couple of jobs out of grad school, and now I am the grant writer and the manager of our case management program for an oral health program. So in my work, we help families find access to dental care. And through that means of public health, we are able to provide so many other services to be able to help people get access to care, identifying the things that are creating those barriers, and then helping them knock them down.
That's amazing. That's so amazing. My pretty much most of my family is in social work. My oldest sister, my brother-in-law, you know, we all went to school. Well, most of us went to school for psychology, so it's just like such a great field. What's the most challenging part about your job, would you say?
It would be trying to change the conversation about how people view social work, social service, and public health, and that not so much in like the mainstream, but on the systemic side, working with different type of healthcare systems, different types of programs, helping them see why what it is that we do is so important. And when I first started in this role, I often will describe myself, I'm the zebra among the horses, because I'm the social worker among the dentists. And dentists are different from doctors, and it's a much more privatized industry. So then you get me coming in, Ms. Social Work, and like I got all these great best practices that we need to implement. And I got a lot of pushback at first. And to this day, I still always will run into somebody who's like, what? Why is that important? But now we've been doing it in my program for so long, we have data and evidence to show that these types of things are incredibly important.
Right, right. That's awesome. So, what's the most rewarding thing about your job?
It might sound kind of selfish, and then that will come back to our whole topic today about self-care, but it's gratifying for me to, when people tell me I do a good job, if that kind of makes sense. Something I get everybody, I've been wanting to do social work for more than half my life. So this, you will hear constantly or regularly that it must be a very rewarding, well, sometimes it's rewarding, sometimes it's draining, but it's always rewarding if I look at the overall picture and see how did I extend such a far reach to all of these different people just by doing what makes me happy. So it's kind of that mix of it's that personal gratification that I get from doing what I love and being good at it.
So that's actually, Chris, that's a great question. So is your did you get into this field of work because you just love helping people, or?
So when I was 16, I had a guidance counselor in high school, which I'm friends with her on Facebook. Um, and I was having issues with my dad. Woo, big wheel. And that it was like my parents had already split up. It's a whole thing. We won't get, that's a whole different day of conversation. But that guidance counselor helped me so much. That was my junior year of high school. She helped me so much through everything. She helped my mom. Like if it wasn't for her invested interest in my well-being and helping me and my mom figure out how to effectively communicate with my dad during this really difficult time, I don't know if I would have ever really considered it as early as I did, but it was that year I said I want to do what she does because it's hard.
No, for sure. That's so awesome. Absolutely terrific. So a big part of what you do also includes self-care. Um, can you tell us what self-care is and why it's so important?
Yes, so self-care are the things, it might sound so basic, but the things that we do, they're intentional things that we do to care for ourselves. And what does that mean in the grand scheme of things, especially like in the world of streaming? Think about how often as a performer, as a streamer, you find yourself doing what you can to help other people be successful. And then it comes back to the, well, where's my gratification? Why am I not feeling good about this? And if it doesn't feel good, that's okay. It's important to be able to recognize these are the things that aren't helping me feel good, aren't helping me feel happy. How can I balance the things out? Oh, thank you so. I love it. Thank you, Yo-Yo. I love it. That's so sweet. Thank you. So self-care has several different elements. Oh, I love that heart. It's so cute. And it has to do with your physical, your psychological, your emotional, social, professional, environmental, spiritual, and financial well-being. All of these things that kind of make you a person, that make you an individual, are they all connecting together, and does it feel good? And so there's a saying that you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't share yourself with others if there's nothing to share. And how do you refill that cup? By taking some steps back, doing some things to recharge, refocus. You'll often hear the term recharged used by introverts, saying I need a way to recharge. As someone who is mostly extroverted, recharging for me can sometimes be just completely cutting myself off from the world, putting my phone on airplane mode and watching The Simpsons for 6 hours, or it could be streaming for 6 hours because I feel a recharge when I talk to people, when I socialize. And those types of things are touching on Streaming alone, I think, touches on a lot of the self-care aspects, such as physical. You're standing up, moving around. You know, there are really a lot of opportunities to, you can do stretches on your streams. There's so many things you can do while you're streaming to focus on those things. I mentioned psychological and the social, this opportunity to be able to talk to people. Um, Environmental, am I in a space that I'm comfortable? Am I in a space where I feel confident? um Financial, is this, it could be maybe a hot topic to talk about here on the app, but how are your finances doing being a streamer? For some people it might be hurting them, for some people it might be helping.
Right.
So what all these things really come down to is being intentional and self-aware, by sitting in whatever might be making you uncomfortable and recognizing it.
Right. Definitely. So, is there one type of self-care that you can talk to us about? Give us some examples of
Absolutely.
in more in more detail, I suppose. What are we calling it? An exercise?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So before we talk about some self-care techniques, I want to talk a bit about ruminating thoughts. So ruminating thoughts are the thoughts that are running wild in your head that you can't seem to stop thinking about. Sometimes it could be, you're stressing over a bill. You're stressing over a call you have to make. You're stressing over an assignment you're putting aside. And there's sometimes there's something you can tangibly do about it, and sometimes you're ruminating about things that you have absolute no control over. What you can do, though, is stop that ruminating, which is then called we can do a grounding exercise. So grounding exercises as being a huge part of self-care, and again, is something that you have to be very intentional about. So one thing that I learned in therapy a long time ago, part of what makes me like an expert is I've been in a lot of therapy. and I'm not afraid to let people know that, because that's where I learned a lot of these techniques. In addition to my education and my direct service, a lot of this stuff I did learn for myself in therapy. And I learned in therapy that a ruminating thought is like when a song gets stuck in your head. So sometimes maybe you'll wake up in the morning and you'll be like, oh my God, what are songs people listen to? I Will Survive stuck in my head by Aretha Franklin. You're just like, oh my God, I can't get it out of my head. So what do then? You listen to the song, because you're like, I just got to listen to it. And then once you hear the song, it's not stuck in your head anymore. It's the same thing, the ruminating thought. Your brain is trying to complete the thought or the sentence, and it's not doing it, so it keeps starting over from scratch. That's why listening to the song that's stuck in your head will help you get it out of your head. And that's why it's so important, if you are having a ruminating thought, to ground yourself and then complete that thought in some way, such as like calling a friend, doing some talk therapy, writing in a journal, whatever might help you finish that sentence. So then, what's a grounding technique? So there are a lot of different kind of grounding techniques. There are grounding techniques that help prevent like self-harm. So for a lot of people who have really struggled with self-harm in their lives, what are some things that you can do if you're starting to feel very anxious and you're maybe getting to a point where you might want to do something that would be harmful for you instead of providing you with care? Right. So one of the things I really like as a grounding technique for, really anyone, especially if you've experienced challenges with self-harm, is the hair tie or rubber band on the wrist. So this is one of the first ones I really picked up, and there's just something about the feeling of when the hair tie or rubber band reaches your wrist, that snap, that kind of creates that feeling that helps people ground when they used to practice self-harm. So, you'll see a lot of people, maybe if you ever see me just sitting there doing this, that means something's bugging me. And I sometimes may not know I'm doing it until I've done it several times. Maybe my wrist is a little red, but that's a grounding moment. That's me saying, okay, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? What is the issue? How do I fix it? Another grounding technique that is good for people who have experienced self-harm is an ice cube. Take an ice cube, take a frozen piece of fruit. Tangerines are good ones. I hear people really like using little tangerines. Take a piece of ice and hold that in your hand. Because the point of the technique is it's going to get you to focus on something that isn't running through your brain already.
Right.
So if you like more information about grounding techniques that are specific to self-harm, please let me know. Find me on Instagram, all my info's in there. But again, for the grounding techniques, I do grounding techniques all the time, especially like in the shower. I don't know about you guys if you ever like find that some of your most intense thoughts might come when you're alone, like in the shower. And so another grounding technique that I like to do is a "where are you" technique. And I will sometimes I'll say it out loud. Usually it's pretty good just with saying it to myself in my head. And I'll start this type of pattern. And I'll say, always open-ended questions. Excuse me, I might have to burp a little bit. Oh, excuse me. Open-ended questions, and I'll start with, where are you? And I'll reply to myself, I'm in the universe. I start as big as I can get to get as small as I can get, so I can get as many answers in there. Usually I don't make it to like the final stage because by then my anxiety has decreased, the ruminating thoughts have slowed down. So again, it'd be something like, where are you? I'm in the universe. Where in the universe? On planet Earth. Where on planet Earth? The Northern Hemisphere. Where in the Northern Hemisphere? North America. So you see, even so, I was like, which one is it? And so you're forcing yourself to focus on something that isn't what's causing you to have that ruminating thought and that stress.
Right. Gotcha. That's really cool. That's really, I mean, I'll definitely utilize that. Very cool. Because like that's something, and also everyone that isn't aware, this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and so I mean, realistically, self care is often utilized for people that are experiencing mental health issues. Um, One thing my therapist actually used to tell me, I don't see a therapist anymore. Just don't really need to. Um, or want to rather. I'm like, after some time, you kind of just like things get better. You can always go back if you need to, but she always said, when you're feeling super anxious, just remember that like you're in control. Like this is you, this is your mind, this is your body. You don't have to be anxious. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, thank you for sharing those grounding exercises with us. Um, what are some of the most popular forms of self-care?
So I like this question, and it helps transition into what you were mentioning before. And we've been talking a lot about for anxiety, behavioral health, things like that. Well, what about like just regular everyday stress and struggles that people might have? Um, so sometimes you just have a really bad day at work. Sometimes you get a fight with your partner. Sometimes your best friend didn't answer the phone when you really needed them. And sometimes you're just having a lousy day. And you've exhausted yourself for others, or just things didn't go well for you. And so things that almost anybody can do are like getting outside. And if you're living with anxiety and depression, getting out the door can be a challenge within itself. So again, it's also like, don't force yourself. It's like forcing yourself to eat if you're not hungry.
Right.
That is not a good feeling. It doesn't feel good. I can say I do not know what it's like to feel starvation. What I do know is that feeling of trying to force yourself to eat when you're not hungry, and it's a horrible feeling. I hate it. But so that's the same thing. If you find yourself being like, okay, like people will say, read a book. And I don't read, and so for me, I'm giving these examples of like what might work for some isn't the same for everyone.
Right.
So what might work for one person is to sit down and read is for another person to stream, to get on and stream for a few hours. Cooking. And a lot of these things have grounding techniques embedded in them, right? So, cooking involves a lot of process, a lot of steps, gives you a lot of opportunities to be creative. It has, usually it's gratifying, sometimes it's not, but hopefully it's still fun. Yeah, things like exercise is really important, and I also know it's like it's for myself even. It's hard to do it just because I don't like it, but I do know I want to do it. So, being creative and figuring out the things that work best for you, doing some trial and error, and always knowing that just because you might not like a certain type of self-care activity now doesn't mean you won't like it later. For example, I'm not very good at sleeping, and I take different medication to help me sleep, and it's always a challenge for me. And I started a sleep journal earlier in the week, and every night I have filled it out, and I'm like, wow, I got over that like 3-day hurdle of doing something that, they, whoever they are, say if you do something 3 days in a row, you're more likely to adopt the habit. And as somebody, I'm a writer for a living. I do a lot of grant writing, reports, research, and I don't care to read recreationally or write recreationally because that's what I do for work. Right. So, what it comes down to overall, self-care is something that helps you feel better and recharge, whatever that might be. Sometimes it's just sitting and watching cartoons for hours. For me, it's listening to the news. I love the news.
I just want to reiterate for our viewers. So self-care is not just for if you have a mental health issue. It's for anyone. If you had like Layla said, if you had a stressful day, anything like that. It's not only if you have mental health problems.
So I actually have a short little video I would love to play for the class.
Yes.
That will actually transition this in pretty well. When we talk about that, yeah, self-care is not just for mental health diagnoses or just people in therapy. It's for everyone. I do a lot of training. I train a lot of dental health professionals, just health professionals, students, all sorts of people. And I finish every training with a slide about self-care. Nice. Because so many people don't put themselves first. Right. And what do you do when you're on a plane and they're going over the oxygen mask thing? What do they always say? You got to put your mask on first. Because if you don't have your mask on, you can't help the person sitting next to you. So it's that same thing, regardless of what it is, everybody deserves the right to take care of themselves, to put themselves first, and also to say no. It's good to say no. Practice it. It's fun. Okay, so let me flip this around. Okay, bear with me, homies. You see it? Okay, like that. Mm-hmm. I'm so good at this. All right. Come on, baby. Hold on.
Three words for you. Treat yourself. Treat yourself 2011. Once a year, Donna and I spend a day treating ourselves. What do we treat ourselves to? Clothes. Treat yourself. Fragrances. Treat yourself. Massages. Treat yourself. Mimosas. Treat yourself. Fine leather goods. Treat yourself. It's the best day of the year. The best day of the year? I got a question. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
So that's treat yourself. And maybe some of you have seen that before. That's Park and Recreation. And I actually first came on to Treat Yourself when I was in grad school. And we made a Treat Yourself like Facebook page. It was like a project or something like that. So that's probably my earliest time working with the concept of self-care. And as
Right.
you see in Parks and Rec, go get yourself a pedicure. That's like one of my favorite things to do is get a pedicure. Um, I live very close to the lake and Lake Michigan, and that for me, self-care is getting up and watching the sunrise. But that's not for everyone. But once you've done it, you'll be hooked.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Very cool. Okay. Believe it or not, I do not relax when I get pedicures. I like so I'm 5'9" and a quarter, and I'm like I feel like my legs are so long when I'm sitting in the chair, even when I'm all the way back. So like I'm in my head like panicking. So for my sister's weekend for my 30th, friggin' like they're like, oh, we're gonna get pedicures, and I'm just like, oh, cool, great. Oh God, I hated it, but I mean, I like getting my toes done, but I don't know. But anyways,
I mean,
yeah, I'm
that's
huh?
what might be fun for some isn't fun for everyone.
Oh yeah, for sure. So what's your actually? I'm gonna save this question. Oh yeah, no, we're good. What's your favorite form of self care?
Oh, getting a tattoo. um, I'm starting to make my list of like I want like 7 different like smaller ones, but um, especially because like that's for me.
Yeah.
And I have some tattoos that people, God, it's so curious how much people love to give their opinion on things that you do for yourself.
Right.
And for me, I have tattoos where people who've told me, they're like, I don't get your tattoo. And I'm like, well, I didn't get it for you. I got it for me, homie. So it's one of those things of, for me, getting a tattoo for sure. That's something too that like, that's not something I do frequently. I mean, sometimes there have been times where I've gotten them as like small as like just a couple months in between. But I usually get a good amount of work done once every few years. And then there's like the daily self care. What are the things I do on the reg? Um, I love to listen to the news. If I can have the windows open, I'm sure you can hear the cars. If I can have the windows open, I open every window in my apartment. Cats love that too. Sleep. Sleep is fun. Sleep is a good self care. And then the number one is singing.
There you go.
So
Very cool. Very cool. Um, so how often do people think that self care is just all about a spa day when it's really not like
it's curious because I wouldn't say that that's common. I think more.
at least from my knowledge of it and like other people, they think, oh, self care, yeah, let's go get our nails done.
I'll be honest. I've never surveyed that question during a training, and I'm probably going to now because I, frankly, that doesn't really come up for me, and it probably is something that it would be good to have when I get to do an in-person training again. Because usually for me, when I'm promoting self-care, whether it's with my friends or in my professional life, um, I don't usually get that response. I mostly get a response like maybe people just are generally unaware of what it is, just entirely, I guess. Maybe that wasn't the right word, but yeah, they're just generally unaware of it even being a thing. I think honestly in my work, I think more times I've experienced people who associate it mostly with behavioral health instead of like daily um, or regular behavioral health care. Because you got your
Oh,
physical health, what are the things that we do? And these are also self-care things. Brushing our teeth, taking a shower, doing the dishes, things that are like also really hard to do if you're living with depression and can be addressed by using self-care and grounding techniques. So I would say mostly for me, my experience has been people attribute self-care to behavioral health alone. And we've been, expanding that idea to go into, personal, long-term self-care.
Right. Interesting. So, what are some of your passions?
So singing, I feel like I'm such a nerd, but my job is a huge passion because again, like I'm so lucky to be doing exactly what I went to school for. And sometimes for me, working is self-care, whether it's because I enjoy what I do or because I'm knocking something off a list, and then that also is gratifying, and it lessens some of the stress.
Yeah.
Me, of course, I don't get to do that very often, but I have been trying to find ways to, I don't know, create more content. And so that's something that is really like, because even last night, I was in here last night in my little nook, and I had all this stuff, and none of it was working. And I was bumping my knees, and Dr. Jones was helping me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm never going to get it. And then everything just worked all of a sudden. And then I had a great rest of the evening. Sometimes there's challenges for sure.
Right. How long have you been? So now we're getting into music. How long have you been singing for?
My earliest memory of singing is like 5 years old in my mom's car. That's where the meatloaf comes from. Lots of meatloaf, lots of Bon Jovi. Uh, yeah, my dad was really into like Journey and Foreigner. Um, but so I even remember just like walking around the house, making up songs as I go along. I remember a line, and then I had a dog in it. Just like little kid nonsense. Um, I tried to get into singing in school, but my dad is Muslim, and they sang about Jesus in chorus, so I wasn't allowed to be in that. And then when I was 16, I got the opportunity to perform. I auditioned for a musical, and I got a call back. And people were like, "You got a call back?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's so surprising." But like, I can play the violin. I played the violin for a decade. I can read music with the violin, but I can't like sing B flat. I just like I don't know. I've never been taught how to do that,
That's
and so that
perfect. That's when you have perfect pitch. It takes unless you already had it, it takes forever to learn it. I don't have perfect pitch.
I'm like, I don't think that's something I'll ever learn, but that doesn't mean I can't, still perform. So that created some challenges, in that scene. And then I was in a band my, junior and senior year of high school. That's where I got this little speaker that the music is coming out of now, talking about the toolkit. I'm like, I had this thing since high school, and now I'm still using it 15 years later to sing here.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Whatchamacallit? Sorry. What is your favorite and least favorite genre of music?
My favorite is turn of the century emo. So I'm talking about, Alkaline Trio is my favorite band, Taking Back Sunday, Yellow, Matchbook Romance, My Chemical Romance, all that like 1997 to 2007 emo. That's my stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, my ring light was bothering my eyes for some reason.
Sometimes I'm like, it's too bright.
Yeah.
And my least favorite, I used to say country, but I feel bad, and it's because that's sing country later. But I always feel bad for my homies that love country music. I grew up in a town where most of the radio stations were country, and it was obnoxious as somebody who did not care for that type of country music. But I do love to sing it. I have some songs that I'm very selective with. My mom, I listen to old country, country western with my mom growing up. So I feel like,
It's okay.
I have one that I like is my least favorite or that I hate. But I'd put country down there.
Enough said. It's our adults. If you could open a show for anyone, who would it be?
Eminem. I love Eminem. I can drop some bars. I love Eminem. I love a young girl who didn't even know what half the bad words he was saying meant, and I'm like, what is this?
I think Frankie texted me something the other day. She's like, my arms are tired. My legs are like jelly. My arms are tired, or something. No, legs are like jelly. Feet hurt. And I was like, loose arms, spaghetti. And she didn't get it. I was so bummed. She's like, what? I was like, Eminem.
In my line of work, I kind of keep my love for Eminem on the down low, because like I work in domestic violence. And when they saw my picture of Eminem on my phone, they all just kind of gave me this look. And I'm like, what? I can't listen to Eminem anymore? You gotta cut me some slack, you guys.
That's, well, I would love for you to show us one of your favorite self-cares, and if you would like to sing us a song.
We'll do the two together, and I have a song picked out. But you know, something that would be helpful before I sing is to show you some breathing exercises I like to do. So
Okay,
I haven't.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think I skipped an exercise. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all rolled into one. We're good. I think I mentioned all of them in the earlier question, but so I have an app that I use to help me sleep. In fact, I actually used it to take my nap this afternoon. Big piece of self-care. If you're tired, go to sleep if you can. So I did. I napped for just about 30 minutes, just all I needed, and I listened to this app to meditate and fall asleep. It's very helpful for me. And one of the things I learned from using it is a technique for breathing that activates a response that slows down your breathing, or slows down your heart. And so what it is that, you know, we'll inhale for like a count of 4, and then we're going to hold that inhale for a count of 2. So we'll breathe in for 4, hold for 2, and then breathe out for 6. And that holding, when you hold it for those 2 seconds, it activates a response in our bodies to naturally just kind of slow down anxiety or things like that. So we'll do this a few times. We'll do it 3 times. So you're ready. However you want. You could be laying down, you could be sitting up, standing, whatever works for you. So I'm sitting in a chair. And when you're doing your breaths, you know, singers usually know this about where your diaphragm is. And so you want to take breaths in that are not just going into your lungs, but also helping stretch your diaphragm. And that also helps for singing. So we'll start in and breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, and then exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do it again. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time. Inhale 2, 3, 4, hold. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my favorite breathing exercise, especially
side at the same time. I feel yawning.
Then it worked.
That was fun. I love breathing techniques.
Yeah. And there are things that you can do there. It's a grounding technique too. If you ever find yourself feeling anxious, sometimes we feel anxious and we're like, why am I feeling anxious? I have no reason. And then things like the breathing exercises, the grounding techniques, where am I? And then also one for senses. This one I didn't cover yet. We do a 5 senses grounding exercise. And then recognize, okay, sense of smell. What do I smell? I smell rain, I think. I don't know. Sight. What do I see? I see, oh, hey, hey. I see me. I see our friend. What do I hear? I hear the cars driving in the rain. What do I taste? I taste dry mouth. I'm still recovering from surgery, kind of. I'm still getting the dry mouth, but we're getting close. And then the 5th sense, what do I feel? What am I touching? And I'm like, I can feel the seat that I am sitting on is kind of like this fake leather. And then that's a grounding exercise.
Wow. Do you need a drink?
Oh, I got it.
Oh,
Don't worry.
okay, cool. Yeah, no. So you're gonna sing a song for us, right?
So please let me know how the sound is.
Wait, hold on. I want to try something. Say something. Oh wow, that's cool. There's a new feature. You can mute the guest.
Let me know if the background music can be turned up. I think I got the sound okay. I haven't really singing diva. I haven't really sang on the app in a while, so I'm gonna sing a country song. And this is one of those country songs that I just love. Sing along if you know the words. This is Chicken Fried.
I love this song.
I love country music. You know I like my chicken fried. Cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of jeans that fit just right. And the radio, whoa, whoa, whoa. This song reminds me of home. Well, I was raised up beneath the shades of a Georgia pine. That's home, you know. Sweet tea, pecan pie, and homemade wine, where the peaches grow. In my house, it's not much to talk about, but it's filled with love that's grown in southern ground. And a little bit of chicken pie, a cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio, up, and I can see the sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love. It's funny how it's the little things in life that mean the most, not where you live, what you drive, or the price tag on your clothes. There's no dollar sign on a peace of mind, this I've come to know. So if you agree, have a drink with me, raise your glasses for a toast to a little bit of chicken fried, and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio up, and I can see the sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love. I want to give a big shout out to Ohay for hosting this awesome show, and everybody for coming in tonight. It feels so good to be back. I missed you guys. Here's to all of our country fans. I swear the country music gets no love on the app. I thank God for my life, and for the stars and stripes, may freedom forever fly. Let it ring. Salute the ones who died, the ones who gave their lives so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love, like our chicken fries and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio up, and I can see the sunrise. See the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, know a mother's love. Get your little chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio up, and I can see the sunrise. See the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, know a mother's love. Thank you.
Yay, that was so good.
Thank you so much.
I was not expecting you to sing that song. It's such a good one.
Thank you.
For sure. Awesome.
Not sure if I want to go up or down, so I'm still kind of playing. Thank you.
So one of the most important questions I feel like I ask at the near the end of these episodes is, who inspires you most?
In general?
Yeah.
I don't know. Barack Obama's pretty up there. For me, being like the political junkie that I am.
Me too.
Okay, I'll go with this too, because I've had people say to me who were trying to talk smack about President Obama and said he's just a community organizer. And I'm like, you're talking to a community organizer. So, he really brought that expertise into the White House that has not been in there before. I still don't think it was as appreciated as people could, but for me personally, listening to his book, A Promised Land, and he talks about at the beginning what he had to do to get ready to be elected and things like that. And I tell my mom, I'm like, he's not deterring me from running for political office. The way he's talking about it makes me feel like I can do it too.
Right.
And then
You're very passionate about politics.
yeah, that's my thing. And then also, of course, people usually say a parent. I'm very lucky that I can say that my mother is that huge piece. And in fact, I've been reflecting a lot on it. And when it comes to singing, I find myself doing a lot of what she did when we were in the car and we would sing. My dad was never a fan of it because we were listening to things like Meatloaf and they talked about sex, and I'm like 6 years old singing all the words to Paradise by the Dashboard Light. And my mom's like, yeah, we're just going to keep listening to it and not tell them we're doing it. So, in addition to that, she also really helped instill a lot of independence in me. And I'm an adult that I don't have to rely on anybody else to be self-sufficient for the most part. So I appreciate having that guidance growing up.
That's awesome. Layla, thank you so much for being on the show. It took forever, but I'm so glad you could be on it. It means a lot to me. Where can we find you off the app?
So on Instagram at There Should Be a Meme for that. You can, if you search for Layla O, hashtag Red Team Go, you'll find me on Instagram and also my YouTube channel, because now I'm figuring out how to make videos, and I posted one a couple weeks ago.
I think I subscribed, right?
I'm still working on making this area functional, because right now I have to set everything up. But I'm working on hopefully my goal is to begin releasing videos, content twice a month. The super goal is weekly. I'd love to be posting videos weekly. So
that's awesome. So cool. Layla, thank you. Oh, hold on a second. This is just from me to you for being so friggin' awesome. Hold on. Okay, there it goes. Last time I spun one of these, last week, it sent Diva a motorcycle. I shit you not. Excuse my language.
We're not verified yet. Yay! Thank you. I love it. I haven't seen that one yet.
Fun. They're fun. So, but thank you. Are you going live after this?
Probably. Yeah. Why not? You want to battle?
I was thinking about it. I'm gonna have to make some iced coffee or something. Yeah, I'll battle you. I'll battle you. I'm gonna go out live and I'll send you a battle request.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. I love it.
Okay.
This is a
Thank you so much.
guys,
So,
thank
please, guys, make sure you favorite her, please. Please.
Yeah, I gotta rebuild my platform. Meet me. Can you hear me? Meet. Well, the diamonds back. They're gone. They're gone forever. That's fine. And then, and I will say, it was good for me. Even though I was really mad, and I'm still mad, and I wish I still had my old profile.
At least we know that you didn't claim fraud because you actually had technical difficulties. Most of the people that's profiles magically disappear. You legit requested your password how many times? Oh my god, I can't.
Each other. I think support over in India because they were sending me emails at like 1 a.m. every time they responded to me. But it is and because of that, I put more effort into creating content for a YouTube channel. And now I'm gonna, I look forward to getting back on the app, on Friday night.
No, for sure.
Friday night. Energies and fit just right. I love you, girl. Thank you so much.
I love you.
All right, I'll see you guys soon.
Well, this has been another episode of the Oasis. Emoji, are you here? Thank you, Layla. Guys, make sure you favorite Layla. Thank you. Edit description. Hold on. Oh, crap. Layla. Layla, I'm going to pop into your stream. I think. Because I have to call my sister back. Okay, bye, guys. Okay, I'll pop in. All right, bye.